And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Thursday. It's the 22nd of May, 2025. Hope you're having a good day. A rare occasion today. We are pre-taping this show in the middle of market hours. It is currently 2 p.m. Eastern Time. How do I know? Because General Hospital starts at 2 p.m. here in Florida. As always, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, tariffs, the big beautiful bill. Yes, they coined that phrase. Murders in Washington, D.C. Why does that matter? Because it does. And anything else that comes to mind, ladies and gentlemen. There are two things I want to start out with today, and then we'll go through the markets and tell you where they are, but of course they can change by the close. So let's see. We have found out, and we didn't know this, we have found out that at universities, not all, but a few, that the hatred of Jews is okay. I didn't say it's accepted. I said it's okay. How do we know it's okay? Because they had 4 people who ran 4 Ivy League schools up on Capitol Hill, and when asked about the extermination of Jews and the calling for extermination, is that anti-Semitism? And they answered, well, it depends on what context. We also know that if it was the LGBTQ community that was being blasted and stepped on and cursed at and spit at, they would have had fits. If it was the black community, they would have had fits. Anybody but Jews in universities. And we're finding out that professors are also teaching it. Not all universities, but enough. They have been parading and calling for the death of Jews. They have been yelling and screaming 3 words: free, free Palestine. You have people wearing Hamas scarves, walking the streets and parading. You've had the media quoting Hamas on what's going on in Gaza. Imagine the media is quoting animals that murdered, raped, and held hostage infants all the way up to the elderly. You have the UN sanctioning Israel 50 times in a year and never saying a word about North Korea or Russia or Sudan or all these places where people are getting murdered. Last night in Washington, D.C., 2 young people were murdered by a man yelling, free, free Palestine. We're finding out more about him as he posted that I voted for Hamas. And I am just thinking to myself, how does a person become that? And why do we bring this up? Because I have news for you, ladies and gentlemen. If they can do it to a peace-loving country and a peace-loving people like Israel, where they can just say there's apartheid there when it's the opposite of apartheid, where gays say gays for Hamas and gays for Palestine, where they would be strung up by their toes, yet in Israel they are accepted and not even thought about. You're just a person. If they can get away with that, and there's people on Twitter all happy about the murder of 2 young people, don't you think it happened to anybody? Just letting you know. I hope they let him out in the yard and they Dahmer him. You can go look that up. Let's move forward. So the House passed what has been coined as, by the way, what a segue, huh? The big beautiful bill that had the permanency of tax cuts. I believe they're permanent. They would be permanent if the Senate votes on them and the president signs it. There were really no spending cuts, though they say over time there would be, and all that. So I've been getting a lot of emails on it because you know where I stand on the Republicans and what they are doing. We are doomed for another 5 to 10 trillion of debt going forward. But I wanted to start out by telling you, if I was the last vote in the House, being honest with you, as I always am, if I was the last vote in the House, me, the last vote in the House, and it was a vote between voting for this bill or not, and not voting for this bill and let it go through means that the tax cuts of 2017 all go up. All the taxes go up. Every person who got a tax cut loses that tax cut. Now, the corporate tax cut was permanent. They did that right. So what would I do? I'm letting you know, as much as I hate the part of the bill where they did nothing on spending, I would vote for the bill. Why? Because you all matter. And if you are at the 20% tax rate right now and you would be going up to 24, I'm just giving numbers. I don't want that. Not only because of you, but also the economy is used to certain numbers on taxes. And that would be a bad precedent. So I'm just letting you know. I would vote for it if my back was against the wall and it was the choice between the two. Now, as you know, I have some serious problems with the bill. They did the SALT thing up to $40,000. That means taxpayers are paying for people to get write-offs on state income taxes with a bunch of blue states that hate their taxpayers. Not thrilled with that. Though it would be a tax cut for people in those states. And the big matzo ball is that we cannot stand that they did nothing about the debt and the deficits. It nauseates us. And let me be clear and concise on that, on purpose. And let me also be clear and concise that they are lying to you about it and saying to you, well, yeah, there's some cuts in there. No, they're not. If I raised debt by a trillion bucks and then cut 100 million, 100 billion, you still have a $900 billion hike in debt. Only in DC can you raise debt and then cut a little bit of the raise and say you cut debt. Sickening, huh? But I wanted to start out by telling you, yeah, I would vote for it if it was the only thing out there and there was no choice. Why? I don't want taxes going up on anybody. And by the way, the fact of the matter is, and I mean this, I want Reagan's. I want his tax rate. I want the highest rate to be 28%. I think we're at 37 or 38 now. I think that's too high. Why? In states like California, New York, you're paying in the 50s. That means you're going into the month of July before you make your first dollar. I think that's sickening. That nauseates me. I'm a Reaganite. I love that 28%, not because I'm greedy, because it's the right thing to do. We were put on this earth to give 50% of our earnings to government that, by the way, has been inefficient and ineffective as possibly can be, where they're now telling us that the airports, especially Newark, are using floppy disks, and we're like in the 15th century. Think about that. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it and whatever else. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. All right, so let me give you a running market right now. The market's running, not running. Dow up 146 after dropping 800 yesterday. S&P up 19, NASDAQ up 136, NASDAQ 100 up 131. Transports are hardly budging. Asia was weak overnight. Europe was weak overnight. Good tone today in what I call my favorite leaders, leading names. After getting slammed yesterday, broad market still suspect, but it's improved over the last few hours. There was a lot of red on my stuff screen. You know what my stuff screen is? Oils, housing, transports, insurance, financials. By the way, the big banks are stronger today after getting hit yesterday. So we're bouncing today after a gross day yesterday. And the most important story of today, and I want you to listen carefully to me, is that bond yields have dropped. That's the most important part of the equation. You got me? Bond yields have dropped. We have had, let's see now, bond yields 1, 2, 3 weeks go from 4.124 to 4.629 this morning. But we're back down to 4.553. It is going to be very important that yields don't keep going higher. That's the best way I can put it. It is going to be vitally important that yields don't keep going up. I can't say that any louder. So the yields were overbought. The bond market was oversold. We're getting a bounce, helping the market to bounce today from yesterday's ick. I think the market's still in what I would call good stead from the rally, notwithstanding yesterday. And I really do like the fact that you have things like, let's see, CrowdStrike up 11, Palantir 4 and change, Tesla up 10. It's a high beta thing. The big tech is up today, though. Big tech still has a lot of work to do. And just the tone of growth, stocks and technology, good today after a very rough day yesterday. And may I state for the record, they were strong yesterday until the end of the day when the market came in. So they're showing themselves today, and a lot of them are putting in what we call handles. And I try not to get too technical on radio because it's easy to show you. Just imagine price going up, whatever trajectory you want to use. Don't use vertical, but left to right from, let's say, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then you do a nice little pullback, minor little pullback, and make a little handle. And you draw like a little U, and then you break through the high of the handle. Well, we have not broken through the highs of the handles, but we're putting in handles right now in some names that I think are of importance. I am also watching the big banks because they came in yesterday and they still got work to do. But they're up today. And I can promise you, no, I can't promise. I'm not allowed to. And I can't guarantee. It is my opinion that's better. that there is no way the market can croak if the big banks are acting just okay. Notice I didn't say acting well. Just okay. And they've had a good move up recently because of the market. And better day today. And when I talk big banks, well, very simple. Bank of New York, BK. And by the way, that's kind of the strongest one right now, and it's a low beta one. Bank America, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. Those are the names. And of course, we watch the regional banks also, which have been much weaker than the big banks since Silicon Valley Bank. Just because there's less of trust of the small guys. And by the way, some of the regionals are very big. So we like today. And we wouldn't mind backing and filling for a week or two in here. It'll make things look better, make my job easier. Why would it make my job easier? Because backing and filling, which means back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Not going down, not going up, but going back and forth tightly sets things up well. It's the best look that I like seeing. Now, I did not like the drop yesterday. It was kind of sort of nasty. But I don't mind drops after rallies. Nice, quiet, easygoing drops. But good day today. We'll take it. We're up 190 as I speak on the Dow. And it's turning into a nice little Dow day because hardly anything's down, except that United Health. And by the way, Home Depot. Home Depot reported earnings yesterday, gapped up and sold off. Not well. Lowe's not acting well either. Stay away from those. But just about everything good. And United Health, I keep getting asked about it. I know what you hear. Boy, the stock hasn't been at this price in this amount of time. I'm just a big believer, and this is just me, where there is uncertainty, I stay away. There's uncertainty on what they're going to be able to do going forward. There is uncertainty on what they're going to be able to do going forward. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately, well, that murder, but it opened up, I guess you can call a little bit of Pandora's box on United Health. And it's been told, and nothing confirmed yet, but it's out there that they have denied a lot more claims than most everybody else out of the ordinary, and that's helped their bottom line. And that's being looked at very closely. There is now talk of the Department of Justice looking at them on certain things also. And that is why the stock is paying a stiff penalty. Now, we also reported to you that the CEO and the CFO bought $30 million of stock at about $288 to $291, and it just got up to about $325. It's back under $300. You don't buy just because insiders are buying, but certainly it goes in my file manager. And we've made good money in the past on insider buying. Up next, what else is going on? And news of the day. This is the one only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. As we said, we are pre-taping this show in the 2 o'clock hour to help out a little bit today. We do want to let you know Bitcoin broke out to a new high. Just letting you know. The high was in December, almost touched it in January, and you broke out of it a little bit yesterday, and furthermore today. What you do with it, you get to decide. We're just letting you know it broke out. We still don't get it. To us, it's an inanimate object. But the market doesn't care what we think. We think it's just it could have been anything. Ethereum is much weaker, but that's been coming on as of late. We just think it's something that was created, that there's a limited supply. You have one guy with MicroStrategy borrowing billions of dollars to keep buying more, and it fuels on it, and it's still on the way. And where it stops, I would have never predicted we'd be here. Just know what you're getting into. We're just reporting to you on a technical basis. It is broken out to new high ground. A little bit above yesterday, confirming it a little bit more today. That would be your Bitcoin. Do not forget, the Morlocks try to come out with 32,000 different coins, where most of them are now zero. There's a few others that are trading. I'm not going to argue that point. But just know what you're getting into. That's all. We're hearing that J.P. Morgan all of a sudden is going to allow the trade. I didn't even know any of this, but I guess there's certain companies that have not allowed it, and I think almost rightfully so. But they don't want to miss out on the money that's being made by others trading it. And I can tell you, I get a lot of inquiries about crypto on a daily basis, and I tell everybody, you get to decide. That's all. Because I don't want to be responsible for it if it ever does blow up. And as I said to you, a ton of them have already gone to zero. But new yearly high, technical breakout, as I speak. Now, breakout, just because something breaks out does not mean it works. You can tuck in like a frightened turtle. But as of right now, looking pretty darn good. What else? I'm getting emails from people. Where's the trade deals? What's your opinion on that? Interesting. Weren't we hearing that 30, 40, 50, 150 trade deals ready to happen? And we're not seeing any of that, are we? Here's my guess. It's just a guess. I think, as I told you, I believe they oversold it. You know what overselling is, right? Overpromising, under-delivering type of thing. That's my belief. And they're just tempering it now. We haven't even heard any talk of trade deals. It's quieted down. I think that's a good move on their part, because let me explain trade deals to you. They usually take years to get done, especially the bigger countries. Smaller, not as much. At the very least, usually takes months and months and months of going back and forth. So they painted a picture here of weeks. And I just don't think that's happening. That's my guess. For all we know, in 2 weeks, boom, 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 one after the other. And again, smaller countries, easier to do. But I'm just letting you know, I think that's what may be going on right now. And also, it may just be they had to pay attention to the big, beautiful bill. Boy, I'm sick of that name already. We'll keep you informed if any trade deals come around. But as I have said to you, the tariffs are 100 on a scale of 1 to 100. The trade deals, I think, are about a 10. Why? Because no one trade deal, even with a big country, it's not going to add a ton. It certainly helps. I'm not going to argue that point at all. Not at all. But I think there's been some overselling, and I think that's why you are seeing a little bit of less so. And, of course, you know where I stand on the tariffs. Let's hope that crap. And I know we're going to get close to 90 days in I don't know how many weeks. I, for the life of me, cannot believe that they're not going to just blow that whole thing off and pause forever, as they say. Why? They crashed the market. They crashed the market. And the reason why they had to get rid of the pause is because they crashed the market. Not just the stock market, but the dollar. And our bond market was getting in trouble. And by the way, may still be in trouble. Not because of that, but for who knows what other reasons. But today, a respite. I used to say respite. It's respite. And the bond market, respite, market up. And that's good to see. Next. Did you watch my Knicks last night? You know, I kind of sort of don't. The other team hit like 8 threes in the last 3 minutes and got lucked out on a shot that hit the back and went straight up like 10 feet and right back down. Normally I would blame the Knicks, but Indiana, my goodness. Then again, you can also blame the Knicks because the last 2.5 minutes, they kind of, I don't know what happened. But they're down 1-0 and they better come out guns a-blazing in game 2 at home. Man, oh man. And they played a good game. I could not believe what I was seeing. My wife was asleep and I kept screaming and waking her up. And my dog was looking at me like I was nuts. Winston was like, "Dad, are you okay?" And I said, "Winston, do you see what happened with the Knicks?" "Yeah, Dad, I did." We move on. Dow up 195, S&P 25, NASDAQ 100, 153, NASDAQ 153, NASDAQ 100, 148. It is only 2:30 in the afternoon, so this can change. I think the most important thing is the 10-year yield has backed down a little bit today, and let's hope that continues. You have a better tone in the big banks today. You have a really decent tone in growth names that got hit yesterday. They were strong early, got hit when the market drops 800 Dow points, but they're showing their stuff already today, and we'll see what happens. And a lot of them are putting in these very nice handles. And I got news for you. Those handles, if they're broken out to the upside, those are all buyable. So we're going to watch all of them closely, and there's a decent amount of those names. In tech. In the artificial intelligence field and other stuff like that. And again, we'll see how the market closes on today. What else? Froth. We hate froth. We hate speculation because it usually leads to not good things. I've just got to mention something that I saw today, which makes me happy not. And when I say froth, we look at what's said, we look at the moves, and easily then we look at valuations. And I found something earlier today on a stock that's up $13 today to just under 47, which would qualify as a big move. We are not making it up when we say to you, the CEO of this company, symbol IONQ, came out and said his company is going to be the NVIDIA of quantum computing. We'll explain that up next on Investor's Edge. So, we're usually careful about not mentioning the names of these things, but we just want to let you know, symbol IONQ. What I'm about to tell you is not an indictment of the CEO, but some will take it that way, and that's okay. We're not accusing of anything, except he has some serious confidence in his company. So IONQ It's called IonQ. Is up $13.96 to $47.50 today. Average daily volume recently is averaged about anywhere from 10 to 18 million shares a day. It's traded 82 million shares today, and it's only $2.30 and change today. The CEO, his quote was, "We're going to be the NVIDIA of quantum computing." Okay. The company has 40 million in sales and has never made money. Loses money. The NVIDIA of quantum computing has 40 million in sales and loses money. Has a market cap of $11.6 billion with 40 million of sales and loses money. But the CEO is out saying they're going to be the NVIDIA of quantum computing. We just report to you. You get to decide. We're just letting you know the type of things that worry us. 40 million in sales with an $11.6 billion market cap. Again, we're just reporting the news without bias or ulterior motive, except to make sure you know what's going on at all times, because we're already getting inquiries. People, what they do, they go online, they see what's the biggest gainers of the day, and hey, Gary, what's going on with this? So just letting you know, we don't like seeing too much of that. And as you know, in the past, we have been very timely when we have called out excessive froth in the markets, because it's usually a little late stage in the move. Usually. So I didn't want to see that. And again, nothing against the CEO. He believes in the company. All well and good. 40 million in sales, never made money, and $11.6 billion market cap. Gappers today: Snowflake, SNOW, Urban Outfitters, URBN. Boy, good move on that one. Advanced Auto Parts, but that's been the weaker of all the companies. And then on the other end, Analog Devices, one of those semiconductor stocks that we follow closely. Wow. Opened up, it was like up 7 in the pre-market, is now down 9, but not affecting other semiconductor stocks as of this juncture, but is getting blasted itself. That's a little weird. That's a little on the downside. And as you know, what we do on all earnings reports, we give them all a little colonoscopy. Nah, that's not a good word. We investigate all of them for their numbers, and most importantly, their reaction, and of course, the group as well. Because if we find 10 or 11 stocks in a group that are all breaking out at once, we want to own that crap. That's how it works. And right now, recently, the AI stocks woke up again. They were dead money for quite a while. They are now much better. For whatever reason. Plenty still not even close to the highs. Still many far down. But the bigger names have come back pretty good. NVIDIA is still down from almost 12 months ago. And is still down about 13-14% from the highs of about 5 months ago. But much, much better. And I mean, it was getting kicked in the teeth. I got a call from somebody I don't know saying they sold the Lowe's. What should I do? I told them I can't tell you, I don't know, and they got mad because I couldn't answer. Imagine somebody calling saying they sold something at 90, it's now 130. What should I do, Gary? And by the way, it's somebody I don't know, and they actually want me to give them an answer. Ain't gonna happen. Somehow, because TV and radio, I get those calls. And they want to be told everything's going to be A-okay. And sometimes some things are in no man's land. And when things are in no man's land, I take a powder. That's a little bit of the calls I'm getting. Very important right now with the markets trying to do better, just stick on that new yearly high list. The things that hit there first are usually there for a darn good reason. And watch the yields. Watch that 10-year yield. The reason the market's bouncing after getting trashed yesterday, yields are backing down a little bit. To me, it's the end-all, be-all. Not the Fed, not Jay Powell, the free market. That said, as I say goodbye, Dow up 166, NASDAQ up 156. I have no clue how it finishes. I'll be on a flight tonight. We'll be live again tomorrow. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Peace out all. Good night.